The IndyCar Series reaches the midway point of the 2026 season under the lights in St. Louis as we go for glory at Gateway.
Drivers, start your engine!
St. Louis, IndyCar is racing. We're green, we go. Palou leads. Kirkwood goes with him. Malukas gets edged out, but takes it wheel to wheel and stays second, David Malukas. And it's tidy and it's neat for everybody through 1 and 2.
Look at Felix Rosenqvist, pops to the high side there around the outside of Kyle Kirkwood. The track is clean, but Kirkwood able to defend.
Kirkwood's running in that dirty air of Malukas in front. That gave Felix the clean air up top, but he's going to cut back down to the inside. Not quite enough of a run as they're still 2 and 3 wide behind.
McLaren's fighting with the ECR, and look at that beautiful livery. It will look, I'm sure, familiar for those of you who've been watching IndyCar for some years. Scott McLaughlin in a throwback livery to Helio Castroneves' 2009 Indy 500 race winner.
Looks like a pretty big move to the outside coming from Rinus VeeKay. He's that white and green car at the back, and I think he's side by side now with Christian Lundgaard. That's a battle for 12th position. Thanks to Verizon, we look out the back of David Malukas at Kyle Kirkwood, who looks to have great pace in the draft right now.
Kirkwood tried to muscle Malukas into turn 1, try to push him high to try to not get too pinned on the bottom. Malukas able to roll that high line in that first lap, keep that second position.
Marcus Ericsson was taking a look at Scott Dixon as Will Power goes to put the move on Romain Grosjean around the outside, heading down into 1. We go on board with him now.
Corner, goes at corner clear.
And we'd like to welcome our UFL audience and congratulate the Kings of Lerville on recapturing the United Bowl with a 29-20 win over St. Louis. The order here: Palou leads Malukas. Last year's winner, Kyle Kirkwood, is third. From the Indy 500 champion, Felix Rosenqvist. Then it's Joseph Newgarden and Marcus Armstrong, the top 6.
Doing already early on.
Rasmussen has made up 4 positions in this race so far, and just a couple of cars back is Will Power, who started 21st. It'll be 5 positions up for Will Power. We ride on board with him now, easily past Santino Ferrucci. That's a 5th place made up for the man who started tonight's race in 21st.
You need every bit of front grip to make it through the corners. So when you lose downforce like that, you got to pop up and find some clean air. But that car ahead can really be strategic about making chess moves and putting dirty air onto your front wing. It's a game you're going to see all night long.
Newgarden has put the move on the Indy 500 winner Felix Rosenqvist, and now Ericsson goes to take advantage of, well, and James, when you get past here and you get forced onto a suboptimal line, you lose that time, and now Ericsson can take advantage of that.
That's it, timing, good run here, nice job. Very nicely done. Keep working on turn 2. Quite a bit of on this there. They take care of those front tires then.
Palou making short work of Louis Foster. Foster is having a horrible evening. He's dropped all the way to the back of the field and can't stay within touching distance of Stingray Robb ahead of him. There's a nice battle, though, between Lundgaard, behind him Rinus VeeKay. Behind VeeKay is Rasmussen, then it's Power and Collette. And VeeKay tries to look around the outside. Oh, that's nice. Nicely done by Rinus VeeKay. Incredibly close.
VeeKay started to walk up the track and wisely pedaled it. This will allow Christian Rasmussen to draw closer and maybe get a run onto the front straightaway.
That's what we were talking about, that break in momentum. Sometimes knowing how to get past is as important as how to pull off passes here.
Rasmussen does such a beautiful job to just hang about a quarter to a half a car width high through 3 and 4. He did this at Milwaukee last year to get his first IndyCar win, and here he goes again.
Oh my, that's close.
Still there.
He's such a joy. He's such a joy to watch on an oval.
Lundgaard faded down on the front straight to sort of block and force Rasmussen high, but I guarantee you Ras was like, thank you, that's my preferred line right now. I'll use the high line all night long.
Great job for him not keeping it very straight in front of you.
A little coaching coming on from the spotter up in the grandstands.
That's Packy Wheeler, who had high anxiety coaching Rasmussen across the line to that win in Milwaukee I just mentioned, because Rasmussen was sideways 2 or 3 times a lap for about 50 laps to take that win. He's the most exciting driver on the short oval because he's so brave and absolutely has the technique down.
But hearing that radio communication, what that tells me is that Rasmussen, who himself was just passed by his teammate Joseph Newgarden, it is 1, 2, 3, 4 split by just over a second in St. Louis.
This is the part of the tire stint where good cars become great cars and okay cars become bad cars as balance shifts and the tire advantage reveals itself. Newgarden and Ericsson looking very strong, arguably stronger than leader Alex Palou over these last 5 laps as they try to work their way through the lap traffic. Next car up the road for Palou, Stingray Robb. And look at Marcus Ericsson now. He wants a piece of second place.
And James, while Palou was able to make his way easily past Louis Foster, Stingray Robb not proving so easy to pass.
Yeah, it's proven to be a bit harder of a task for sure, but I think right now Ericsson, this number 28 machine, just looks the best, the most comfortable. You can see how close he's able to run to Newgarden, much closer than Newgarden is.
Keep working on your timing, you'll get him.
He might get him right here.
You heard his spotter Bob Perona say, work on your timing, you'll get him.
And he will get him. Up on the inside after Newgarden had a twitch coming onto that backstretch. Another twitch for Newgarden mid-corner.
Not a great sign for him. The important thing right now for Ericsson and the 28 team is to stay in front of the balance of this race car as it evolves, as the track changes over the course of the night. Make those subtle adjustments to the tools in the car. Make those adjustments to tires and wings in pit lane as Palou still not able to get around Stingray.
You do not have to cede position to the leader. You are allowed to fight to remain on the lead lap in IndyCar, and that has opened the opportunity to Ericsson. And Ericsson sweeps into the lead. The 11th position made up tonight, and it's for P1 for Marcus Ericsson.
Nice job. Let's get through this traffic here.
I really love our new Top Gun cam looking back at Marcus Ericsson's eyes, because it's clear visor, of course, because it's nighttime. And what I see from Marcus Ericsson's eyes is calm, focused, confident. And Marcus Ericsson doing such a great job on that exchange. And here comes Newgarden around lap traffic.
Newgarden's got the tow from Nolan Siegel to try to take some of that speed and take the fight back to Marcus Ericsson ahead. Dixon leads the race but is yet to stop. Behind him, this is the battle for what will be the lead when Dixon stops. Ericsson getting the tow from Ferrucci. Palou now putting the move. Oh, Siegel had a touch, and Siegel's into the wall, and I wonder if Palou will get a penalty for that.
That was, I mean, we'll have to see the replay. Siegel saying, I left him so much room. You see debris on the racetrack.
I don't know what that was about.
That suspension component is, that thing weighs about 3 pounds, and cars are going over that and taking damage to the floor.
Siegel says he left him the room, and you know what?
Not enough.
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, or all on Siegel. And we'll have a look up the inside, but it's Newgarden who takes advantage and immediately makes the move for the lead, and they're very, very close, and they make contact through 2.
I saw a puff of smoke, James. That was dicey.
It certainly was. The front wing of Newgarden seems to be hanging on, though, as Ericsson still leads the train into turn 1 side by side behind, but starting to file out a little bit more. Malukas now on the gearbox of the 10 of Palou.
Those cars side by side, those of Grosjean and Schumacher. Lap traffic in the midst of race leading traffic.
Guys, I like seeing Ericsson kind of forcing the issue as you see Rasmussen trying to go on the outside of, I think that's Rinus VeeKay. And now Kirkwood looking on the inside of Dixon, who made up so many positions by staying out a little bit longer, getting into the pits just before that yellow flag flew. But Kirkwood now back on the move.
Fighting over 10th place, and this, I believe, is a replay of the contact between Ericsson and Newgarden, and it was a big hit.
Boy, it certainly displaced the front wing of Joseph Newgarden on the right side. And watch this, it pushes that right front end fence up about 6 inches here when they have contact.
You can see it's a little bit of understeer from Newgarden. Lucky for Ericsson to not have a puncture there. We saw similar types of contact in Phoenix results. And Rasmussen came in here, as we mentioned at the top of the show, with a new contract and extension. He'll be staying at ECR. And you actually roll the clock back 12 months, guys. This was really a statement race for Christian Rasmussen. Got himself up on the podium with some incredible driving, some really spectacular moves. But right now, it's all these two up front.
It was Rasmussen's first ever podium in IndyCar here last year. It's where we started to figure out he might be something rather special on the ovals, and began to take that moniker of the Sultan of Sketch, given how close he likes to race and how aggressively he likes to race. Well, what about this? The rookie, Kyle Kirkwood, taking the fight to the 6-time champion, one of the greatest of all time. Kyle Kirkwood in those Brazilian colors, flying past Scott Dixon, as Rinus VeeKay also puts the move on Scott Dixon. James, great run for both these drivers today in teams that you wouldn't normally expect them to be up there fighting in the top 10.
Well, look, we've seen JHR run well here in the past in the hands of Connor Daly, and it's great to see Kyle Kirkwood running up there for AJ Foy Racing as well.
4 Indy 500s between the top 3 on the oval here at St. Louis, all gunning for it as we ride on board with Joseph Newgarden. And Guy, those tires look like they're starting to go off for all perhaps, except for Kyle Kirkwood in 6th and Rinus VeeKay in 7th, who are on a charge, Jack.
Start to see the marbles grow and grow. And as we approach the next round of pit stops, that's where things potentially get really hairy as cars come out on new tires and they start to go side by side again. Somebody almost always will get caught out on the old rubber that sits offline.
But before that next round of stops, you got that next round of traffic for our leaders. And when you're this deep into a tire stint, like you say, T-Bell, the marbles are starting to accumulate. The tires are starting to wear, your grip's going down. So it's going to be much harder for Ericsson to side through this train of cars than it has been up to this point. And it's going to leave him vulnerable to a move from Newgarden. This is where Joseph is so good at being patient and playing the traffic to his advantage.
And trusting Team Penske on pit lane to give him the free pass with a quicker pit stop potentially. And look at how close that got with Graham Rahal as Santino Ferrucci up into the light gray and the marbles we were just talking about.
And that allows the leaders through. Ferrucci, passed by Rahal, slides up, and the 2 leaders go through. And those are what the guys are talking about, the marbles. So essentially the rubber, top surface of the tires gets rubbed off through the friction through the corners, flies up onto the track, and if you slide up onto those, you lose all grip.
Think back to being in elementary school, working with your pencil, and you make a mistake, you take that eraser and rub it to get the pencil off the paper. It leaves all those little balls of rubber off the eraser on the page you got to wipe off. That is essentially what these drivers are driving on as we take a replay here of that move. Graham just pretty aggressively cutting down on Ferrucci.
I think they might have just touched their front wing of Santino Ferrucci, hoping for more front downforce.
Great stop from Juncos. That's Rinus VeeKay. He's going to get out ahead of David Malukas. A brilliant stop from Juncos down to Kevin Lee.
Marcus Ericsson coming in. He's not had a win since he moved to Andretti. In fact, it's only been 1 podium, but he's on pace tonight to be very much in the mix. Firestones, fuel, Shell 100% renewable, he's away, and he has to avoid the 20 car of Alexander Rossi, and will just beat him on exit for pit lane.
Out on track, Rinus VeeKay keeps the position over David Malukas as they get their tires up to temperature. Alex Palou now on pit lane.
Brilliant stuff.
But guys, Ericsson's the one that's still come out the best of the bunch.
Nice job.
That slower stop from both the 10.
And somehow through it all, if I'm looking at the timing pages right, Rasmussen, who stopped earlier than any of them, is actually ahead of all of them on the track.
I think you're right.
Rasmussen's done 2 stops.
We got a caution
out
in turn 4. Graham Rahal.
Big one.
So just, big moment early in the corner. The correction just put him up into those marbles. And Dixon this time not able to get in before the caution comes out. Very square hit. Those ones hurt, T-Bell. Not as much of a crash structure. The attenuators back there, that's going to absorb a lot, as does the safer barrier. Great view of it all from Lundgaard. Wow. so unnerving.
Joe Graham last pitting on lap 61, so he's on very old tires there. And a big rear impact.
It has been an explosive night here in St. Louis. Kevin Simpson is being pushed back on pit lane after he seemingly ran out of fuel out on track. Last lap that he came in on pit lane was 54. Georgia, though, I believe, has an update on exactly what has gone wrong for Kevin Simpson.
Yes, well, he ran out of fuel. There were too many laps under yellow before the pits opened. So Kevin Simpson, the 8 car, out of fuel.
And Ericsson takes us back to racing at St. Louis to begin lap 144 of 260. Bunching up over the line. Newgarden has a look up the inside of Kyle Kirkwood.
Armstrong making the move to try to get his lap back 3 wide behind midfield there. Everyone trying to feel out what their cars are going to be like on the first lap of this restart. So far, so good.
Rinus VeeKay alongside Pato O'Ward. Pato O'Ward running high.
And there's Dixon on the outside of VeeKay using, well, he didn't get those fresh tires.
So Armstrong has managed to get back ahead of Marcus Ericsson. So this is the battle for the lead. Ericsson, Kyle Kirkwood and Newgarden. And Kyle Kirkwood's got a good run.
He might have a better run, though, on Kyle Kirkwood down the back straightaway. Look for Newgarden to poke out high and maybe go too wide.
Newgarden does go high.
Side by side, the more they fight each other, that's just allowing Marcus Ericsson to open up a little bit of breathing room.
Kyle Kirkwood having a nice battle with Christian Rasmussen as the teammates McLaughlin and Malukas go side by side.
13th and 14th on the racetrack. You see Ferrucci there in front of them.
And they stopped just before we roll back to green. Riding on board with Santino Ferrucci.
He just got into the hard limiter a bit at corner exit. That's going to limit his acceleration as McLaughlin takes advantage.
Love that you can see the lights on the dashboard of the steering wheel. McLaughlin through the aero screen under the lights here.
And unsighted by us, Newgarden has got through Kyle Kirkwood for second place. But look at Marcus Ericsson stretching his legs once again. He has been at one with his car tonight. And that's the move for Newgarden, up and on the inside of Kyle Kirkwood to get up there into second place. But what a job. What a job Ericsson is doing tonight.
Oh, Ericsson's doing a phenomenal job right now. He's just got to stay patient, stay focused. He doesn't love the fact he's got a car in front of him as a
ball next year at Andretti. Oh, it's Malukas and Santino Ferrucci are wheel to wheel, and Malukas is up and on the inside of the AJ Foyt Racing driver, and he's passed him. But Ericsson needs a good result. He needs a headline result this year to really announce himself, place himself fully in contention to remain not just at that team. Oh, puts that move on Armstrong.
And he has
needed that.
He has to work for it harder than anybody, but that's going to allow Newgarden to capitalize on the loss of momentum from Armstrong. So where it took 5-6 laps for Ericsson to get by, Joseph's going to get him in 1/2 a lap.
Newgarden is such a force at this track. 5 times a winner here, was leading last year up until the point that he was involved in a massive incident.
Looking at the numbers, Scott Dixon here as Christian Rasmussen goes to the outside of Kyle Kirkwood in turn 3, and they are close.
Sam's Club on board of Kirkwood showing you just how close they are to stay ahead of these changing track conditions. Sometimes the car's just perfect, T-Bell, you don't have to touch it, but sometimes you need to just preempt it. Give it a 1/2 turn of front wing just in case it starts going that way.
Not on this Delaware Life car, man. This thing has been so dialed in. This is one of those don't touch it. You look at Ericsson on board, we don't see him touching much in the way of settings or adjustments at all. I think they're that good, that dialed in. But we'll have to see as the track temp continues to drop with the cloud cover.
Here comes Rinus VeeKay. Oh, that is close. Not just to the 27 of Kirkwood, but to the wall on his right-hand side on the entry to the corner. They exit side by side, get the slipstream from Will Power ahead. One driver done already for VeeKay. Does he have a look for 2?
I almost was expecting Power to drop down and give his teammate the draft on that straight, but
look,
he gave it to VeeKay instead.
Another huge run. What's going to happen if Rinus VeeKay gets to Christian Rasmussen? These are 2 hot shots showing big-time moves right now.
And if Rasmussen gets a couple clean laps right now, this reduced pace that the 28 and the 2 are having to run in this traffic And you see him, I think maybe he's coming to pit lane now.
Newgarden goes with him, goes high. This is a fight for the lead. And Newgarden gets around him because Ericsson chooses now to pit. It's for conditions.
Oh. Tough for Scott Dixon because the pits are closed right now.
Tough for Scott Dixon. Kevin, unless this is it.
Unless this is it, and how long will we go behind the pace car? Because he was going to come in, as we see Rossi, and now he was coming in on the next lap.
Palou is out of fuel, guys.
Palou is running out of fuel. He's trying to coast to his box, but it's all the way at pit out. Is he going to make it? Regardless, he's going to lose track position, and this race off pit lane might determine the race. Marcus Ericsson did decide to stop. Everyone is within the window to be able to make it home. And Joseph Newgarden with the lead lap cars is the first one that is out. Rinus VeeKay also. Dixon, but he took emergency service, then Kirkwood. Palou just now got to the box.
So Newgarden gets out ahead of Rossi. Rasmussen. Palou somehow made it into his box, but running down pit lane that slowly really caused a bottleneck for everybody else down there onto pit lane, and it was literally the moment that he crossed the line that he seemed to run out of fuel. There's Ericsson, Newgarden, there's Rasmussen behind as well. Rossi tows Rasmussen with him, and Rasmussen takes second from his teammate.
Rasmussen didn't get a great launch, so Rossi really had to lift off to let him go by. That gave Marcus Ericsson enough momentum to clear him, as well as they spread out 3 wide down the back straight.
Kirkwood got Collette, and that's for P5. But here comes Rinus VeeKay. Look at that move on Alexander Rossi.
Kyle Collette, he looked like he moved out of line a little bit early. I hope that wasn't too early for the stewards, as now Kyle Kirkwood trying to get around Mick Schumacher, who's a lap down.
But look at the pace of Christian Rasmussen up at the front. He's right with Joseph Newgarden. Tucked up with Newgarden round the outside. Rasmussen for the lead. Trying to take it away from Newgarden. Side by side and wheel to wheel.
That's the move that won Christian Rasmussen his first race in Milwaukee, but now you're dealing with Joseph Newgarden. They go side by side again.
Oh, and they almost touch, but Rasmussen has the lead. Are the 4 that have electrified us at every turn of the 216 laps that we have seen turn today. That's the move that put Rasmussen into the lead, and it was ever so close.
He made sure he didn't turn in exactly when he normally would have to force Joseph a little bit higher. It's crafty, it's smart.
That is rare for Rasmussen as Power and Pato O'Ward go side by side.
TWG AI on board shows the pass complete for Power. O'Ward now falls down to 10th. And Power sets his sights on the McLaughlin.
And here comes Newgarden for the lead once again. Now they go side by side, and it's Newgarden who holds the advantage.
Oh yeah, great move from Newgarden. Now Rasmussen's got to try to put it right back on him.
Tucked up under his rear wing, goes to the inside, takes it straight back.
Clear.
Newgarden not willing to hold the outside line through 1 and 2 the same way that others are, but as these two battle, Ericsson is able to close the gap onto Newgarden.
The 2 very best on short ovals going at it back and forth lap after lap. Close, aggressive side-by-side action.
And why wouldn't you? There's still rain in the vicinity. This thing could get called at any time. Track position is key. You want the lead. You want to stay in P1 just in case this thing ends when you least expect it. Newgarden with a great run. Looks up the inside of Rasmussen and takes the lead again. This is fantastic.
And you saw him take that and get a really good run off of 2.
These 4 drivers still fighting it out for the podium, but each and any one of them could still win. And now here comes Ericsson on Rasmussen. Moves to the inside. And the man who's led so much of the race today takes second position back and will have his sights set firmly on Joseph Newgarden.
And James, you called it. Rasmussen's high line is an issue as the caution is out for conditions. Kyle Collette, the rookie.
Oh, that's devastating. In the mix for a podium for the majority of the day. The yellows were already out for the conditions. Open up for next year. You've got to believe Kyle Collette's name is going to be in the mix as we look at Ericsson. put that move on Rasmussen moments before the yellow comes out.
Yeah, and that's the thing to watch. Look at the dashboard lights or look at the lights on the side of the racetrack. Pass is done now.
Still green light.
26 to go when they cross the line. Newgarden takes us back. Rasmussen goes with Ericsson. Look how close they all are. VK has a look. Malukas round the outside of Kirkwood. Ericsson holds on to second.
There was a touch further back. I think on the front wing.
Look at McLaughlin.
Oh, too high.
Ferrucci almost crashed, but McLaughlin with a head of steam.
3 wide. Armstrong on his teammate Rosenqvist. And here comes Pato O'Ward once again around Rosenqvist and tucked up behind Armstrong. Now here comes McLaughlin.
He's already into the top 6 now, making a move on Malukas.
We know how much understeer the 27 of Kyle Kirkwood's dealing with right now. He's the next guy in line for McLaughlin.
We talk about a retro livery. This one playing back to 2009 to the Indy 500 win for Helio Castro Neves. It looks like a race winner, doesn't it? It looks fighting, it looks fast. Ferrucci fighting with Armstrong.
Armstrong on that fresh tire. Ferrucci did not pit. Falling down to 9th. Really just at the mercy of these drivers with the new tires. Now O'Ward and Power coming up.
Yeah, fresh tire courage running side by side there as Scotty Mack works the backside of Kyle Kirkwood. Look at Power to the high side.
There's a bit of vinegar in Will Power's veins tonight, particularly after that final stop. 11th place he runs right now. Pato O'Ward ahead of him, but the momentum is with Scott McLaughlin. 6th place right now, 5 ahead of him. Make that 4! He moves around the outside of Kyle Kirkwood.
It's not going to come easy. Kyle Kirkwood knows how to race hard, but he has to give up.
It's done. Who roared to the 500 win as now Power roars around the outside of Armstrong. That is so brave.
That's new tires to new tires. That's just Power being brave and bold. And Armstrong looking maybe into one, can't get it done.
O'Ward's up to 10th.
Joseph just metronomic, hitting all of his marks, knowing exactly what he has to do. He'll be getting updates on which lane the 28 of Ericsson prefers to run at each end of the racetrack. He's going to do what he can to disturb that.
You were that lap, you gained on him just a touch.
There you go, gained on him just a touch. Almost 0.7 of a second now, the difference. Newgarden pulling out just a little bit.
Newgarden isn't just good on ovals. He isn't just great at this track. He's won half of the races here as VK now has the run on Rasmussen. But we know Rasmussen loves that high line. Somehow holds the momentum, somehow holds the place.
2 of the bravest drivers in the world right now, putting it all on the line, running so close together.
What a result this would be for JHR. Previous best at this track, that came in the hands of Connor Daly as 6th place. If they could get a podium here, that would be like a win for a small squad like that.
VK showing his mettle once again.
Meanwhile, lap traffic just entering turn 4 as Joseph Newgarden just enters turn 3. He continues to close at a ferocious rate. His last lap, 165 miles an hour. Kiffin Simpson at the tail end at 162.
Over the line, 10 to go. It has been 58 races since Marcus Ericsson last won in IndyCar. That was the St. Pete season opener in 2023. He's had the measure of this track all night, but can he find the measure of the man who could pretty much set up a home here? He's so comfortable. 50% of the races run at this track. Joseph Newgarden has won 5 out of the last 10. He's incredible here.
And don't forget, guys, we mentioned it earlier in the show, nursing an injury. Instead of not really feeling it in the race car, not really bothering him, and it's showing with the pace that he's got.
Look at his eyes. Look at how far ahead Joseph Newgarden is looking here. Brilliant stuff, able to anticipate so much looking that far ahead. He looks calm, confident, and very much in control. 8 to go here, and I keep watching that lap traffic entering turn 4 as Joseph Newgarden is about a half a straightaway behind. It might factor on the final lap.
Yeah, nightmare fuel for Newgarden. He doesn't want to catch those guys if he can help it.
In fact, oftentimes what you do in this situation as the lead driver is try to manage the bubble of air behind you to not force yourself into that lap traffic. You start playing with the air and the turbulence along and across Marcus Ericsson's car to just keep that gap and drive as slow as you can and manage track position so you don't get the wild card, which is lap traffic, and it's still, there it is, it's on the same straightaway. Newgarden that much closer to Kevin Simpson.
I think back to earlier in this race when Newgarden held this kind of 3/4 of a second to a second advantage over Ericsson, and Marcus somehow found something. He found a way to pull the gap back and ultimately make his way past. He doesn't have far to go. 5.5 laps remain for Marcus Ericsson to try to do what so few people have at this track, and that is to find a way past Joseph Newgarden.
Meanwhile, Christian Rasmussen seems to have just kind of closed back up now to the tail end of Marcus Ericsson. So, lot to play out here, 4 to go at the line.
I wonder if that near pass attempt there from VK came off the back of a slight mistake for Rasmussen, maybe having to check up because he's now pulled a healthy gap on the driver in the 76. 5 to go at the line. Now 4.
Well, maybe for VK, that was one last attempt, one last hurrah. Gave it all he had. The gap is down, 0.7 now, Newgarden to Ericsson. Rasmussen's getting in on the mix as well, 0.8 between Rasmussen and Ericsson.
And you can really see Joseph Newgarden now looking in his mirrors, trying to manage that air to Marcus Ericsson. He's about 2.5 seconds back from lap traffic. This is a master at work right now.
He is just so good at these racetracks, T-Bell. It doesn't matter whether it's here, Iowa, Milwaukee, Phoenix. You put him in an IndyCar on a short track. There are few drivers, I mean, there are no drivers in the field today, few drivers in the history of IndyCar racing that can just consistently perform at this type of racetrack. So comfortable with what he needs from the car, how he needs to work traffic, how he needs to execute the race, and he's just putting on another masterclass right now.
And behind him, sensational nights, of course, for Ericsson. We've talked about that. So exciting from Rasmussen. A brilliant job. And Rinus VeeKay with the small Juncos Hollinger team. These are season-high moments right now for all 3 drivers.
But what can you say about Joseph Newgarden? Yes, he's won 5 times here out of 10 starts. But this is not a normal season for Joseph Newgarden. A massive accident at the Indianapolis 500 left him bruised and battered. He somehow contended with 100 laps around Detroit to fight his way up through the field, to fight through the pain and take a result that day. And here, though, back on familiar ground, Joseph Newgarden has proved the warrior that he is to bring home his 6th win in St. Louis.
Let's go!
He moves to 9th. 9th on the all-time win list, his 34th career win, his 6th here in St. Louis. What a drive. He ties Al Unser Jr. Guys, what a drive, what a driver.
Nestled among the rolling hills of Wisconsin lies one of motorsport's great natural wonders, Road America. Just beyond the shores of Elkhart Lake, where racing first wound its way through city streets more than 70 years ago. The tradition continues. Thousands make the annual migration. Campgrounds fill, grills ignite, and an astonishing variety of local delicacies can be found at nearly every turn. As morning breaks, a familiar sound echoes through the hills. The distant growl of IndyCar engines. Fans settle onto wooded hillsides and grassy overlooks, patiently observing the action from their natural habitat. Drivers navigate more than 4 miles of sweeping corners, blind crests, high-speed straights, and the kink. A place where momentum is precious and mistakes are rarely forgiven. Beautiful, historic, entirely unique. And it starts right now on Fox.
The second half of the 2026 IndyCar season starts right here on one of America's oldest and greatest circuits, Road America. Welcome to our coverage on Fox, and we want to thank those of you tuning in after the World Cup, and especially those celebrating Spain's huge win over Saudi Arabia. Hola, amigos españoles. ¿Quieres ver otra victoria? Quedaos aquí y conoced a Alex Palou, because if you like watching Spain win, there is no better man to support than him. 4 goals for Spain today, already a 4-time champion. The man from Barcelona leads the 2026 IndyCar Championship and will lead the field to green today from his 5th consecutive pole position. For his 24 international rivals, their task remains the same: beat the best. At the NTT IndyCar Series XPEL Grand Prix at Road America, live on Fox. Will Buxton, Townsend Bell and James Hinchcliffe with you today. Very much with the World Cup fever, and Townsend, today might be all about a little bit of fancy footwork.
Yeah, I mean, Spain dominated in the IndyCar Championship, as you said, with Alex Palou, but where is the American? Just like our own Team USA, off to their best start ever in the World Cup here in IndyCar. 2-time winner already this season, Joseph Newgarden. But let's talk about feet. This guy had a monstrous crash in the Indy 500. He's injured, had surgery this week on his left foot. Why does that matter? Because that's the foot he normally brakes with. Today, he'll be right foot braking. It's a massive adjustment for Newgarden. He has won at this track twice before. He's the grittiest driver in the series right now.
And James, when it comes to wins or losses, corners can always play their part.
Certainly can, and there's 14 of them here at Road America, and one of them has been particularly difficult throughout practice and qualifying so far. This is Will Power going for a little bit of a ride here. You see one of the McLarens dropping wheels on the exit of that final corner, and this can happen if you go just a little bit too far. That's Stingray Robb in practice. We saw Joseph Newgarden have that exact same accident in the race last year. That's just one of the 14 corners that's going to be throwing a lot of curveballs at these drivers today.
Well, as we said, Alex Palou, a 4-time champion, leads the championship, looking for his 5th. Starts on the pole position today, hoping to stick it in the back of the net. Down to Kevin Lee with our reigning champion.
It has already been a magnificent day for Alex Palou's home country. Spain wins in the World Cup. Can you carry that momentum over here at Road America?
I hope so, man. I think they won 4-0,
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. Better than our first match, so I'm super excited for that. Very excited for the 10 car starting on the pole and getting that best view heading to turn 1. But yeah, it's going to be a long day, man. I think there's going to be crazy strategies going on, different strategies with fuel and the tires. So looking forward to it, and hopefully we can get that number 10 DHL Honda on victory lane.
Alex Palou is on the pole for a remarkable 5th straight time, trying to keep the Palou show rolling.
Resplendent in Spanish national colors, Alex Palou hoping to extend Spain's winning streak today here at Road America.
Power down a little bit better, secure the high speed for you. If you need anything more than the typical, let us know at pit stops. Also, remember you've got the tools in the car to start early in the session with maybe a little more rear bar, your steering vector, and work in your direction. So be active. Know that you can do some on different parts of the track. Not just one. There's no one thing the rest of the track.
Everybody, Road America is a driver favorite, it is a fan favorite. I've been trying to come and see the last couple grid walks, haven't been able to. Apologies, Scotty.
Yes.
But more appropriately today, Lucy's dad. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, mate. Yeah. You ditched me the last few events, but appreciate it. Father's Day, big day for me.
And I've also just want you to dispel the rumor that you are in fact just a bandwagon Knicks fan.
I'm not going to say what I want to say on TV to you. I'm a massive Knicks fan.
Right. Thanks, Scotty. Have a great day today, man. Saw his crew last night for a few brats, which feels very fitting and appropriate here at Road America. I'm going to try and politely pull Felix out of his thing. Felix, happy first Father's Day. How has been a dad for you so far?
It's been good. I haven't really had a chance to be a father that much lately, but no, it's been great. It's been great. Still learning things, you know. It's kind of like when you're a rookie, you know, you're picking up on everything. You're learning stuff every day, and you know, getting a little better day by day.
All right, Fro, hope your teeth are feeling better. Good luck today. Good luck today, Ace. Adam Rovazini, the strategist of Felix Rosenqvist and the number 60. I have a small bone to pick with David Malukas because I heard a thing. He's given a pep talk. He's rallying his team. David, we speak a lot about nicknames and all your nicknames that you're trying to create. I heard you're trying to give yourself one.
Well, not myself. There was actually a group at Gateway, a group of kids. They started calling me Chef Dave.
Chef Dave.
Yeah, because you know, in Gen Z terms, we're cooking it up. We're cooking it up out there. So maybe we run with the Chef Dave until we get this win there, which maybe we'll rock Chef Dave for only a few hours. We'll see. But yeah, Chef Dave, that's a new name.
Okay, being a recipient of not choosing nicknames, I don't know if you get to choose. So go out there and make it Big Dave today. Hi everybody, how are we doing today? I'd love to see a packed crowd. I'm not going to try and make this worse. Best of luck on your speedy recovery. We have a Green Bay Packers player here with us today, Evan Williams. I'm hoping I haven't overshot him. I'm not totally sure where he is. Oh, he's right here. Taking pictures with fans. Don't want to interrupt his moment here. Evan Williams, safety for the Green Bay Packers. Is this your first time at an IndyCar race?
This is my first time in an IndyCar race. I watched a couple growing up, never got to go to one. So yeah, this is definitely exciting.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you so much for being here. Best of luck in your season.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate it.
Fans out in full force at America's National Park of Speed. We're about to get racing underway here at Road America. So no better time than to roll trackside.
Here to give the command for today's XPEL Grand Prix presented by AMR. Please welcome guest of XPEL, Mike Reed.
Drivers, start your engines!
As Evan Williams rolls out pit lane and onto track for his two-seater ride, let's take a look at the XPEL Grand Prix at Road America starting grid.
Alexander Rossi, Nevada City, California.
Stingray Rob, Payette, Idaho.
Louis Foster, Odium, England.
Mick Schumacher, Germany.
Rinus VK, Hoofddorp, the Netherlands.
Graham Rahal, Columbus, Ohio.
Kevin Simpson, Cayman Islands.
Kyle Kirkwood, Jupiter, Florida.
Dennis Hauger, Aurskog, Norway.
Christian Rasmussen, Copenhagen, Denmark.
Joseph Newgarden, Nashville, Tennessee.
Romain Grosjean, Geneva, Switzerland.
Santina Ferrucci, Woodbury, Connecticut.
Christian Lundgaard, Hiddenstead, Denmark.
Scott Dixon, Auckland, New Zealand. Let's go Kiwis.
Will Power, Toowoomba, Australia.
Pato O'Ward, Monterrey, Mexico.
Kyle Kirkwood, São Paulo, Brazil.
Nolan Siegel, Palo Alto, California.
Scott McLaughlin, Christchurch, New Zealand.
Marcus Ericsson, Kumla, Sweden.
Felix Rosenqvist, Värnamo, Sweden.
Marcus Armstrong, Christchurch, New Zealand.
David Malukas, Chicago, Illinois.
Alex Palou, Barcelona, Spain.
Well, that is your grid, and they leave pit lane and roll onto this quite incredible and historic circuit. 14 turns, it is fast, it is flowing, it is a monstrous challenge. Townsend, James, why don't you take us around on the Honda track preview?
Yeah, simply one of the best racetracks in the world. Just outside the small but lovely town of Elkhart Lake. sits this Road America at right over 4 miles. 193 miles an hour into turn 1. It could be higher than that with push to pass and the draft today. You go down to turn 3, a critical exit here. So you fire down the long straightaway, which has a downhill braking zone. Again, almost 190 here for turn 5, and then you start to climb the hill, James. It gets very technical after that.
Yeah, this tight, technical middle section of the racetrack, turn 6, uphill, flattens right at turn in. So easy for drivers to pitch it off there through a near flat kink in turn 7. Then another downhill brake zone, T-Bell, into turn 8. We've seen a lot of drivers run wide there as we head into the world famous carousel. 146 mile an hour minimum, 3.4 G's sustained, and you got to use that momentum, get to throttle early, because it carries you all the way down the back straight.
Yeah, through the kink. Look at that, 176 mile an hour corner, and if you are nose to tail with dirty air on your wings, it is tough to hold the throttle wide open as you hit Canada corner, turn 12, 4 G's, the most you see on the racetrack in that brake zone. Through 13, a tricky blind rise, and this final corner, turn 14, maybe the most important exit on the track as you go back up the hill to complete a lap at Road America.
68 degrees. It is cloudy. It is cooler than it has been throughout this weekend so far. How will that affect the tires? The soft, not giving as much of an advantage as we've seen at other circuits throughout the season. Strategy is going to be a key one. And guys, the top 3 all starting on that soft tire, hoping for that immediate bite in the early part of the running.
See a great aerial shot of that brand new concrete section at the exit of several of the corners, including the final corner. And the reason that's important is the drivers are going to be experimenting a ton today with how much of that new grasscrete surface they can experiment with.
Time to head down to pit lane in Georgia.
Well, I'd like to highlight the driver out of Christchurch, New Zealand. That's Marcus Armstrong. He's still searching for his first win in the NTT IndyCar Series, but he told me just a little earlier today that this is the most confident and comfortable he has ever felt on a road course. He's been top 3 in all sessions, including qualifying, where he's going to start 3rd next to his teammate Felix Rosenqvist, our most recent Indianapolis 500 champion. This start is going to be so important for the whole Meyer-Shank Racing organization. Kevin.
Georgia, there have been a lot of wild rumors this weekend about where free agent drivers might end up next year. And one of the most desired seats is Marcus Ericsson's at Andretti. But Marcus told me that don't believe everything you hear at this point. He has a lot of confidence in his future and feels really strong about what's going to happen today from his 5th place starting position. He's had a strong year this year, and he's confident everything is going to work out quite nicely. To Jack Harvey.
Thanks, Kevin. My driver to watch today is his teammate Kyle Kirkwood. He's starting a little bit out of position in 18th. However, on his path to IndyCar, he won at Road America over 5 times. He's on a 3-race top 10 streak here at this track. No doubt he's going to be charging through and trying to close the championship points gap.
Thank you, guys. So many fascinating stories throughout this field today. Townsend, you talked about Joseph Newgarden earlier, running with that damaged left leg. He's had surgery on it in the week leading up into this race. We sit on board with him now, courtesy of PPG. For me, one of the drivers to watch out for today, Christian Lundgaard. Of the 2 road races we've had so far this season, he came 2nd at Barber. He won at the Indy Road Course. You know what? He could have won that race at Barber as well. Not a great qualifying for him. Starts down in 12th, but knows how to get the job done on a permanent road course.
See all that information on display thanks to the McLaren Racing Club. On board now with the XPEL Chevy of Scott McLaughlin here. This guy seems so laser focused, locked in, coming off his best Indy 500 finish ever. He's one to watch with Team Penske.
What about the rookie, Caio Collet? Starts 8th today, impressive throughout this weekend. And what about Mick Schumacher? Disappointing qualifying down in 22nd. Other than qualifying, though, he's been top 10 all through the weekend. Alex Palou in the yellow and red car will take us to green. Alongside him, America's David Malukas, who has never won a race. Behind them on the 2nd row, Marcus Armstrong, yet to win a race. Alongside him, his teammate Felix Rosenqvist, who won the Indianapolis 500. They exit turn 14. They will rise up the hill, and when they reach the crest, they hope to see the green flag waving. And when it does, Alex Palou will take this field to green, will get us racing. We have the green, we have racing at Road America, and Palou immediately moves to defend, and look at Armstrong up and on the inside of David Malukas, forcing the issue straight down on the run down into turn 1, and Armstrong up to second, barges his way past Malukas, who runs wide along with Scott McLaughlin. One of the McLarens is off, and I think that is Christian Lundgaard, who has damage to his front wing.
And that's David Malukas falling another position back as Rosenqvist gets on the inside of turn 3. I think that was Will Power dropping wheels on the exit there. That's going to hurt his momentum on this run down to 5. Huge opportunity. Malukas pulling back out to try to claim third back.
Deep on the brakes goes David Malukas, the young American, making it work on the Indy 500 winner, Felix Rosenqvist. Now Rosenqvist going to challenge back. They go side by side under the bridge.
Oh, and Rosenqvist very squirrely on exit there as he puts the power down, and McLaughlin will want to have a piece of him. That is the difficulty around this track. If you get a little wayward through a corner, you can lose not just one place, but potentially 4, 5, 6, especially on these opening laps as Santino Ferrucci and Christian Rasmussen do battle.
And all this battling behind's allowing Alex Palou to steadily pull out a lead up front. And look at that outside move from Rinus VeeKay in the carousel on Newgarden. We've seen him pull that move off before.
Saw him do that his rookie year. Very brave move once again from VeeKay.
And Colette isn't letting Ericsson go either. Colette in the Brazilian colors, the white, the blue, the green and the yellow. We ride on board with Ericsson now. You can't see his wing mirrors, but if you could, they would be full of the rookie's AJ Foyt racing car.
Up on the Delaware Life camera there, looking ahead at Scott McLaughlin. He got a great run off of 14. Colette, not as good a run. He's going to be under threat now from Pato O'Ward.
If you are Marcus Armstrong and you are sitting second, you cannot let Alex Palou build up a gap. You cannot let him escape up the road as Kiffin Simpson defends from the Dale Coyne racing car of Dennis Hauger.
No racetrack penalizes a challenge gone bad more than Road America, just like this. Kyle Kirkwood there in that blue and black car poked his nose in there. It didn't work, and now he's starting to lose the draft and maybe fall victim as we ride on board the nose cam thanks to Sam's Club here. You've got to be so careful and strategic about when you time your move, because the penalty for getting it wrong can be several positions.
And Kirkwood has only made one place up on that opening lap, and it's because of the damage to Christian Lundgaard. Look at him right in the middle of the track there, and he just runs into the back of Scott Dixon in the orange and blue Ganassi ahead of him. Here we are on board with him. Watch that front right.
Well, watch Scott Dixon move over to defend there in the brake zone, and Kevin, it looked like Christian Lundgaard was expecting more room.
And he also has damage. He's in the pit box right now, changing to a set of softs and also changing the front wing. He told me yesterday, we've been on the struggle bus, but today they figured it out, had a lot of confidence. Now he's going to need a caution soon to catch back up to the field, or a chance at a result has gone away.
Caution, he's going to need a miracle. Lap 2 of 55, and Rosenqvist still applies pressure to Malukas.
I'll tell you what's so impressive about this, guys, is you notice the red sidewalls on those Firestones of Malukas. That's the soft compound, where Felix, you can see the sidewall there. Sidewall of those tires, that's black. That's the hard compound. A little bit slower.
If we can get him, that's great. If not, we'll start saving some fuel. And 89 would buy us 1 lap.
A little bit slower in theory over a lap, but should last a little bit better over a stint distance. But you can see already the pace that you have on those hard tires. And you heard the radio transmission from the pit wall of Rosenqvist. Hey, if you can't get them, let's throttle back a little bit, start saving a bit of fuel.
Well, one of the teams of the weekend so far is the team that won the Indianapolis 500. It's Meyershank Racing. They started 3rd and 4th. They sit 2nd and 4th, Georgia.
Yes, absolutely. While you talk about tires, this team strategically split tires between their 2 drivers. Marcus Armstrong started on the softs. Felix Rosenqvist started on the hards. Mike Shank told me before we went green, they'll take about 10 laps, but hopefully by splitting the strategy between the 2, they'll have information quicker than a lot of the other teams and know what tire will benefit them the rest of the race.
Marcus Ericsson with a beautiful move on Scott McLaughlin takes 5th place after an excellent qualifying performance, retakes his starting position. But Ericsson on the charge.
Guys, I think we're starting to see that crossover already with the softer tires, at least for the 2-team Penske cars. That's David Malukas right there, that red number 12. His teammate Scott McLaughlin in the yellow and white car running 6th. Both these Team Penske cars seem to be struggling a bit for pace right now, as you see Rosenqvist battling Malukas and Marcus Ericsson getting by McLaughlin just a little bit ago.
I really liked that move from Ericsson. Very decisive in the brake zone. Went a little bit deep, which allowed McLaughlin to try to do the over-under, try to cut back, but then Ericsson just really crowded him on entry to 6, didn't give him the opportunity. It was bold, it was brave, but he pulled it off.
We should remind everybody that the cars that are on the soft tire right now, we'll go to the hards later, the cars that are on the hard tires right now will have to run the softs at some point in this race. So if you've got pace on the hard tire right now, you want to get ahead, make your pass, and try to pull away and anticipate potentially the slower lap times on used soft tires that you have to run later.
Mate, I think you're absolutely right. When you look at those opening laps, the soft tire had the advantage. It's how McLaughlin was able to get ahead of Ericsson. But now not only has Ericsson repassed him, but McLaughlin's now coming under massive pressure from Kyle Kirkwood, who, guess what, is also on the hard tire. So these soft tires seemingly lasting only about 3 to 4 laps before losing their best.
Unless you are the great Spaniard Alex Palou, whose gap has opened up over the last couple laps as he runs on those soft tires. How is he able to do that? That's the question the other 24 drivers have been asking themselves the last couple of seasons. He's that good at managing his 4 tires.
One of the drivers to watch out for today, Christian Lundgaard, has even more to do now from the back.
Yeah, sorry, man. I need to go full push here. No problem.
Welcome back to Road America, where it isn't just on the track where the excitement happens here. So much put on for the fans. But now it's all about the race itself. And we sit on board with Felix Rosenqvist, who for the first 6 laps of this race has been battling with David Malukas. And We remember just a few weeks ago at the Indianapolis 500, it was Malukas who led that last lap, and famously, this man, Felix Rosenqvist, who with one of the great final laps in Indy 500 history, took that victory away from David Malukas. And Malukas here, defending like a man who has already had one of his greatest moments, or potential greatest moments of his career, taken from him. There's previous between these two, and Malukas not willing to give an inch to the man who denied him at the 110th running of the greatest spectacle in racing.
You can already hear Rosenqvist coming off the gas a little bit, starting to save a bit of fuel, just like he was instructed to by the pit wall. That's in an attempt to try to get that extra lap. It's so much harder to do here than at other racetracks because the lap is so long and has so much time at full throttle down these long straights. So you've got to work extra hard to hit the number to buy that bonus lap to try to do the overcut by staying out.
We do have Red 4 if you want a little help. We obviously want to stay in touch with Malukas there. Red 4 if you think you can use it.
And see, this is another call from pit lane. Red 4. That'll be a switch on the steering wheel that'll put the engine into a different map, slightly leaner, help him save some fuel along with what he can do as a driver by lifting off the throttle before the brake zones.
Yeah, so let's explain that. This is a 55-lap race. Generally, under full green conditions, you're going to try to do it straight up in 3 pit stops. If you split those 55 laps into 4 stints with 3 stops, you might do 2 stints at 14 laps each, 1 at 13. Well, you need 3 at 14 laps each, 1 at 13 to make it. So you do the math. When do you want to burn fuel? If you overdo it, you end up short. And if you get behind on your fuel mileage, it is a long, long day here at Road America. So you have to be extra strategic as a driver and a team to figure out when and how do we want to burn that precious fuel to make this on just 3 pit stops.
Well, one guy we were looking at from the start, we talked about him carrying that injury. Joseph Newgarden, one last time out at St. Louis, is down 8 places to 23rd. Jack Harvey on pit lane, not the start that Newgarden was hoping for.
Absolutely not, Will. I did catch up with his engineer, Luke Mason, and kind of just asked what happened. And he said he got shuffled out of position with a little bit of contact, and then it just snowballed. I dived in deeper to see if there was any other issues that may have been impacting that start and maybe a little lack of speed, and he said, no, we're just working through everything again now.
Thank you, Jack. And an already difficult day for Joseph Newgarden became even harder. And Townsend and James, when we talk about the difficulties that Joseph is going through today, it's not just the pain, it's not just the injury he's having to contend with.
No, exactly right. We're going to take a look at our Dallara cutaway car to explain a little bit of what's happening inside the cockpit of the number 2 machine for Joseph Newgarden. You look inside the footbox of an Indy car, you've got 2 pedals, you've got 2 feet. Left foot slows you down, right foot has you going as fast as possible. And it's a lot of pressure you've got to put through that brake pedal. It's about 200 pounds of pressure, over 2,000 pounds that goes through the braking system, squeezes those discs and really lights up that rotor. But what happens when you're right foot braking is you have to get your left foot out of the way. You rest it on the dead pedal, basically just a platform, just a bracket that you can rest and brace that left leg on. Then on that straightaway, you're still using the right foot to go full throttle, but as you head into these big brake zones like turn 5, you come over to the other side and have to modulate the brake with the right foot. For a driver that's been racing their whole career left foot braking, making that transition over to right foot braking is so incredibly difficult. It's like a soccer player learning to kick with the other foot.
And for everybody at home that, like most of us, drive with your right foot in your road car, you might wonder, well, where does left foot braking come from? Every one of these drivers started out in go-karts. And in a go-kart, you have one option, left foot braking. That's how we were taught. It also shortens the time between coming off the throttle and getting off the brake pedal. So for Joseph Newgarden, it's going to a whole new race car technique for the first time, frankly, in his career at a track where he's won twice, but is very demanding on the brake pedal, and he's doing a great job, I think, under pain, injured, figuring this out in real time.
Just as a reference, Joseph Newgarden at 35 years of age, it's probably 2 decades since he's been braking with his left foot. That's made me a bit weepy. Happy Father's Day, everybody. Welcome back to the XPEL Grand Prix at Road America. Alex Palou leads Marcus Armstrong by almost 3.5 seconds. David Malukas hanging on to third from the rapid Indy 500 winner, Felix Rosenqvist. Ericsson fifth. McLaughlin is sixth. Collette can find no way through. Then it's the McLaren duo of O'Ward and Siegel. Scott Dixon rounds out the top 10.
You could just see the gap there. It's quite a big one back to Armstrong. But here's the thing, guys. We know that Palou tends to actually prefer the hard tire, but he is absolutely making that soft work. And we're coming up close to those pit windows, Kev. Couple different strategies these drivers can take.
And I think we're still a couple of laps away from the window to be able to make it home without massive fuel save if it stays green the whole time. But tires are laid out for Louis Foster, so he's going to do something different. And I think some of those in the softs are going to have a hard time making it to lap 14. Jack.
Rosenqvist has been told by his strategist, Adam Rubenzini, that he can use a little extra fuel to get around David Malukas if he feels like he is close enough, and then they would worry about saving after to make up that position before this first round of pit stops.
There is Kyle Kirkwood still hounding the Penske of Scott McLaughlin. What about this guy? We talk about Joseph Newgarden racing injured. Alexander Rossi too, with a right leg injury sustained in practice for the Indianapolis 500. He's up 6 places in the race today. The most
Those 32 or better. Those 30 or better. That's all you gotta focus on. Don't worry about the red center.
Close this gap. Close this gap. 4 laps. Copy that, 2 more laps. 3.2 is the number we can laps. Push here. up to this lap. Everything you got, we'll hit this lap. Hit this lap. So you get this lap. We'll load me on the end here. Stay on black tire. 3, 2, on your board. Ready? Go, go, go. All clear, all clear. Mind rest low, clear. 4. Gotta save everything you can here. Gotta save everything you can here. Roll 12, everything you can, all the fuel. What? All the fuel. Back your way down, back your way down, back your way down. Back your way down. All the fuel you can save, back your way down. Still up there, so just be careful for Grosjean in F. There is a control somewhere. Control station. Alright, Kevin, we're going to have to hit this lap regardless. Okay, so hopefully the open pit before you there, but anyway, have to hit this lap. That's fine. The load will be pretty sure. Okay. I'll be at the left. We have an 18 car and road. Move up, move up. Right behind the board.
Up past anybody in the straight line. Around. You just gotta let me know to hunt to the blend line earlier. I couldn't have backed off on that lap. Track. So, one O'Ward from one Armstrong, one all on black, hot one 141, Fokker, or back, all open, yeah.
Around one start, feel off right, come around now.
Start work. Work. Start. So far. Rose, I'm red. Everybody, awesome.
Most of the cars on track right now are on black, but Armstrong is only 5 cars right now in red. You're one of them, Marucci. 2 in front of you, red. Red for early 24. A long way to go through. Trying to force the pin up as much as possible and maximize the gain with red. Straight on black, so no way to really on black. Yeah, go ahead. Looks good. Maybe about good first restart. Hopefully a little luck for one turn left for us. That's the car in start. Figure out after. Are we going green this time, bud? Negative. They're still trying to reorder. They may call late, but right now it's not. One to go, Pato. We are coming for one to go at the line. One to go at the line. Copy that, one to go at the line. Alright, bud, do what you need to do here to have a great restart. When you up that, we'll try to maximize the pace of this thing. Go about 10 more laps before our window opens. Less than that for both. Running all the positions you can. Straight 2, over 6 people. Alright, copy that. Away. Just rolling. Green. Great job here, Chip. Keep the pressure on. Only got about 4 or 5 more laps till our window opens. How's the tires?
Tires are still doing all right. I haven't felt the drum up yet.
Copy that. I'd like to go another 2 laps or so.
Cars in front of the 45 are driving away here, so be cool.
You're doing a good job here, Kim. Just keep pushing on these tires. Not too much longer.
How are we on question 10?
We're pretty low. We're not the worst in the field. We're not the best. We're about average right now. All the cars around you have left.
Fuel tank. It's important.
pit now. We're going to black. We're going to set the car back to where it was. Front wing angle. Let us know if you need anything different. No, sounds good. A couple cars setting up here. We'll come around that green guy. 3, 2, 1. Get your revs up. Clear out. Clear out. Gold 2. Gold 2. All right, bud, we're pushing hard here. Start to take advantage of lean track. There's a group of cars in front of you that have been out for 6 laps. They were all drive-through and late hitters, so when you get there, let's get through them. Alright, but our number to the end of one more stop is a 3.1 or better. 3.1 or better. So just keep pushing here. Won't worry about the fuel later. Take advantage of this clean air. Get these outlap cars.
After that, go into black, open the front wing. One more after this. Mind you're on nose, you're out, lap, 1 lap or 2 more. Nose going 5, 4, 3, on your board. Ready? Go, 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 go. Out lap here. Overtake here, pit to the left, pit to the left, on the right. Come in, pip in, pip in. Pit Pit. Down 12. Still. Box. Doing emergency service. We're going to do emergency service. Cool.
Alright, so that'll be pretty decent for us there. That'll be nice. Let's just stay with Rahal and get backed up. Save as much fuel as you can while you're doing it.
Quick stop. No tires. One. Mark. All good. Clear. Pato, grab the fit and Carpenter for slowing down for a full lap. Side intersect on full.
We heads up for trucks up here. Raz with a hydrant issue. Nice packed up, leaders, turn 6. About halfway there. Get packed up, bud. Close the gap, packed up. I'm packing up as quick as I can. Yeah, copy that, bud. All good. Front stretch, left.
Box. Confirm, box.
What did you say about the front stretch? Well, first of all, the pits are open. We will stay out. There's going to be a lot of cars in front of me coming in here. So we're going to pack up into the left line as quick as we can. We'll stay to the left on the straightaway. Left on the straightaway.
On mark. Front. Outside, all clear.
Right, Kevin. So, obviously that yellow helped us. We're currently up to 6. Everybody's on the same strategy. Everybody still has to do one more stop. All those cars that took it have about a 3-lap tire fuel efficiency. So everybody still has one more stop. Got a boatload of transmission. Copy that. Great job, guys. Our fuel number before the yellow is a 3-1 to the end, so it should be full push-ish again. Number 4 is here. The leader of the group that just packed is 11. That was Steven. So you've got Armstrong leading, group 6 below. Got a drive-through on that last cycle for speed. fight for here now. Same strategy as everybody else. The lights are out on the pace car. We're going to be green this time. Green this time. Remember the early restart window. Go gold 2 before turn 12.
One more stop.
Copy that.
We're fuel 100 here, fuel 100. No pressure behind, no pressure here.
That front is broken. Put in your van back and drive.
Yeah, copy that. Tell me again how the front country has a little crack there. I think there's damage. Stay out here, stay out here. Look. 5.
Yeah, my left front is quite bent. Steering wheel is just one step and down. Not ideal, but it's just deal with it.
Can we still drive it here, or do we need to service it?
I'll try and drive it.
Front 240 behind. Yeah, copy that. Behind. 105. Yeah, get his left hand down. We understood. So it's gonna be okay. You can drive it. We gotta keep going here.
Yeah, maybe fine. What's the line? Mr. Open here. Mr. Open. Stay out. Stay out. Well, please. Well.
Next time, bye.
Captain.
If we're going to very seriously consider finishing this race on black, that's our preference at the moment. So as this sim progresses, let us know what you think Martin's a little bit better to finish this thing off strong.
Yeah, I mean, so far, my car has been playing from earlier.
Yep, copy that. That's what we figured. We're very strong out there at the moment. Let's take advantage of it. Already passed a couple of these guys running on track, so do it again. As a reminder, OT will be active at the restart. Ray Hall in front, 47 seconds. Foster behind, 53. So gold 2, heading to 12. Get ready for the restart.
There's a way. That's the field. Rolling. 61 in front, 69 behind you. Wing for black. One, carousel and turn 12, 7. Go, 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 go. Clear out, clear out, clear out. It's going to be 91 and fuel 91. Over 4. Over 4. Clear out. Here, 2, push a little bit, some cycles over, but it's going to be fuel 2-1. The tolling looks really good. All clear? Mark. 1. More front wing. Full push. Back coach. Out. 4. 3. Boom. On your board. Ready? Go, 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 go. All the way over, all the way over. Full tires all around. Push hard. Got him.
Gap behind 1.5 to Palou. No pressure. Everything out front. Everything you can to put pressure on these guys. Still one more car out there, mudguard. May cycle in front of us. Keep pushing. Power has 53 OT. You have the advantage over Palou. You have the advantage over the next 3 cars in front of you. Right, the 7 car is going to come out in front of you guys. He's going to be on an outlap on red. Work hard to get around him.
They're up there. They're by 3. Look up.
Alright, next up time, bud. Ray Hall has 22 OT. Power has 53. Follow Powers for Graham. Start to be a little bit aggressive here.
5. Whatever F1, code 5. front, open, stay out, start in front, brake ball behind, power behind, brake ball with her. Out. So it's fine. Let's go back. Start like you're out. Go green next to them. Just shoot out here. Green wide. Let's back in. Good. Come down. One lap. Yep. Fuel 100. That's 71 seconds. 20 seconds behind. You are getting the distance is green and white together this time. So once it's on full. Yep, okay.
And it was chaos. I gotta go back and study, man. I gotta figure out why I'm so slow on race day.
Yeah, good job, Stacy. Good. Behind you is Simpson, Palou, Power, Ross, McLaughlin. Point Taylor, up. I'll clear it over.
Yeah. 6.
Officials there. Correct.